In the spirit of education, I feel it is important for baby boomers to understand where the major pitfalls lie in investing for retirement. In some cases, unfortunately, it's because the client is working with the wrong advisor. As a person ages, preservation of principal and generation of income become more and more important. Excelling in this approach to investing requires more than just general knowledge of the markets and interest rates. It requires a very specialized knowledge and a dedication to the craft. You know, in medicine, the average person knows that while seeing a pediatrician when you're 12 years old is fine, you'll probably outgrow that doctor by the time you're 18 or 19 years old. Then, as you age and specific maladies present themselves, you would begin to visit specialists. If you have the same type of financial advisor today as you did when you were in your 30s and 40s, it may be time to visit a specialist. How can you tell if your advisor is a generalist? I'll take a few moments here to point out some of the more obvious examples. Your advisor performs a risk tolerance questionnaire and then places your money in a prepackaged portfolio. This seemingly mathematical approach will lead the client to believe that their individual needs are being met, when in reality, the client is being lumped in with thousands of others. There is no way to know if each and every holding in a portfolio set up in this fashion is actually suitable for the investor. Your advisor works under the umbrella of a large corporation. Large corporations will influence their advisors in the investments they recommend in two ways. One, through increased compensation for recommending the corporation's proprietary products, and two, through biased research that is provided by their own home office. Keep in mind that as the CEO of a major investment firm such as Merrill Lynch, Raymond James, or Edward Jones, your responsibility is not to the individual client or even the financial advisor. It is to the shareholder of your corporation. In short, your number one responsibility would be to make money for the corporation. If there were two suitable investments that could be recommended to clients, but one makes the corporation more money, financial advisors belonging to that corporation will be encouraged to use that investment, even if the other investment worked a little better for the client. When you work with an independent advisor, especially one who is a fiduciary, you have none of these concerns. Your advisor has recommended you stay put when you've expressed an interest in being more conservative. Here you're facing one of two potential issues. The first possibility is that your advisor is not a fiduciary. The second is that your advisor is working through a firm that limits the types of investments that can be used, thereby creating restraints that keep the advisor from recommending what is in your best interest. Your advisor uses bond mutual funds instead of individual bonds. This is an easy one. In this instance, your advisor does not specialize in fixed income investments and uses bond mutual funds to avoid the need to research individual bonds. Remember, when you use a bond mutual fund, you lose the two most important guarantees offered by the bond, assuming there are no defaults. The fixed interest rate, the first one, which provides you with reliable and consistent income, and second, the maturity date, which gives you the knowledge of when your cash will be returned to you and how much it will be. Your advisor generally recommends mutual funds to create the necessary diversification in your portfolio. Again, using mutual funds is the easy way to shift the responsibility of actually managing the money onto someone else's shoulders. If the fund does not perform well, your advisor can blame the market or the money manager of the mutual fund. Unfortunately, what's easy for the advisor is not necessarily good for you. Mutual funds do not function efficiently for the individual investor. Your advisor always believes it's a good time to be in the stock market. Remember, advisors who are old enough to be working with clients in their 50s, 60s, and 70s probably entered the industry during the 1980s and 1990s, which happened to be the greatest bull market in history. The belief that the market always outperforms other investments was ingrained deeply in their brains during that time. They learned buy and hold strategies that do not necessarily serve the best interests of retirees today. Your advisor sees nothing wrong with taking distributions from a portfolio loaded with mutual funds and risk-oriented investments. Your advisor does not understand the destruction that reverse dollar cost averaging does to a portfolio in retirement. It's tough to explain reverse dollar cost averaging in a video this short, but let me give you just a bird's eye view of the problem. If you're taking withdrawals from an account of mutual funds and/or common stock-related investments, you are selling shares of your investments for cash every time you take a withdrawal, because of course you can't pay your bills with stock certificates or mutual fund shares. When the market declines, even if it's temporary, your shares are being sold at lower prices. If you're withdrawing $2,000 per month and a share was worth $10 per share, you'd be selling 200 shares to get your $2,000. If the price of the share was to drop to $5 per share, well, of course, now you'd have to sell 400 shares to withdraw the same $2,000. Your advisor has recommended a variable annuity. This combines the problems of the prepackaged portfolio, mutual funds, and risk, and adds them to some very high fees. If you had $200,000 in a variable annuity for 10 years, you'd likely be paying over $60,000 in fees alone during that time. This with no downside protection on your principal and little control over how your dollars are actually being invested. If you're approaching or are in retirement, taking control of your investment decisions is of critical importance. Work with an independent advisor who is a fiduciary and further specializes in the needs of retirees and understands the benefits of owning investments that actually generate an income for you. If you'd like to discuss these or related topics further, please call us at 954-281-5292. Have a great day.